Hey YT World, and welcome back to my channel. So today is part 2 of the GAD/depression. I have some more tips for you guys. I have a little list of like symptoms, and I have a little update for you guys. So let's go ahead and get started on all that good stuff. So first I want to talk about just some symptoms that I experience when my anxiety is not under control. So I don't know, and we can discuss this in the comments, but I feel like this is the difference between like generalized anxiety disorder and versus like having anxiety with something that's going on in your life, and that's what the anxiety is coming from, type of thing. Versus like, if you have generalized anxiety disorder, like these are just constant symptoms that you're having, regardless of like whether everything's like good and dandy or if like there is something going on in your life. So some of the symptoms that I have experienced and currently have been, but I'm getting them under control with the tips that I told you guys about, which I'm going to link that video down in the description. But it would be shortness of breath, trouble breathing. That's definitely one that I had mentioned previously. You're just constantly having to catch your breath and feel like you're like, so I just constantly check in with myself on that, because a lot of the times I'm breathing, shallow breaths. Anyways, the next one would be clenching your jaw. That one for me tends to be a big one. I also have TMJ, so I feel like that's not helping. That's a joint disorder in the jaw. So jaw clenching at night, that's a big one. You can get a night guard for that if that's a symptom that you are experiencing. Another one would be loss of appetite. So that is like a big indicator for me of how I know my anxiety is high. If I just have like no interest in eating, like food's just like bleh, so that lets me know that my body is extremely anxious, and then another one that also lets me know that my anxiety is at an all-time high is that I get sweaty palms and feet, which I know is gross, but that is one of the symptoms that I have gotten in the past or get sometimes with anxiety. So on to the new tips or extra tips that came to me literally right after I finished recording the first video. All these things started popping in my head. I'm like, you forgot this, you forgot that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to film a part 2. And I feel like it's almost going to turn into like a series, because I also want to update you guys and continue to let you guys know like how to heal ourselves, like things that you can do. And I feel like I'm a good example of someone you can learn from, because I've been through it all, like a lot, which subscribe to my channel and you'll learn about it. Anyways, new tip would be to avoid caffeine. So caffeine and anxiety are like, I feel like they just don't go together. The reaction is just like extremely bad. You're shaking, like you can't breathe, you feel like you're about to have a heart attack, literally. So yeah, I stopped drinking coffee a while ago. There was a period in my life a few years ago where I was able to drink coffee, and so reflecting back on that lets me know that my anxiety is high right now, and it's not under control because I'm not able to ingest caffeine and react to it normally. I have like a extreme reaction to it, shaking and all that. So that's one, avoid caffeine. Another one would be to journal. Journaling has helped me so much with dealing with my emotions and just anxiety and getting things out and being clear-minded, making lists and journaling. currently I have this journal that has different sections in it. So this one's awesome because one section can be like personal, one section can be family, one section can be like goals and career or whatever. And then I have my planner, then I have my fresh and savory folder or notebook, binder, what is this? Journal. I have my fresh and savory journal, and that's everything fresh and savory. All the ideas that come into my head for fresh and savory are in this journal. And that's just an example of my daily, but I literally in my closet have stacks of journals that I've collected over the years, and I also have a folder with all the affirmations that I've written down, which are also really cool to look back and reflect on, because you can really like see growth or non-growth depending on what kind of person you are. When looking back on those notes, you can see like, oh, back then I was working on A, B, and C, and now I have A, B, and I feel C, and that's part of my life now, where back then it's like something that I was trying to manifest or something like that. So yeah, I love doing affirmations, you guys. They're really powerful, let me just tell ya. It's funny, I actually have ones from yesterday right here. So wealth, success, joy, and structure. Those are my 4 affirmations. And on my way to work, I was repeating them over and over and over in my head. Listening to music too, but repeating them in my head. And I swear to you, maybe an hour or 2 into starting my shift, I got offered a side job gig that paid like extremely well and is opening a door that is putting me in the exact direction I want to go in when it comes to fresh and savory. So I, immediately my mind went to my little piece of paper and my affirmations, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. I love it. So just talking about it is bringing me joy. So do that. Journal. Write your affirmations. Another thing in the previous video, I mentioned to write your affirmations down in your planner or a journal. I kind of take that back. Write it down on a piece of paper and carry it with you. That way you can have it, you can refer to it throughout your day and reaffirm those affirmations. Get that mind, retrain your mind to think in the way that you want it to think, go in the direction you want it to go, type of thing. Okay, so where are we going? Another thing that I did, I don't know if this could help you, but it's something to take into account, because I would notice after a night of drinking, not like binge partying drinking, no, after a night of having a few drinks, I would notice I'd wake up with anxiety the next morning, which so weird, and so yeah, with that being said, I've minimized my alcohol consumption by a pretty good amount. Not that I was wilding out before, but yeah, that was something that I've been doing, and it's been working out just fine. Just another thing, like anything to help, right? Because this is like the worst feeling ever, to go about your day and have these symptoms of not breathing, of being tense and sweating, and not eating right, not giving your body the proper nutrition, which is so important to our mental state of being and our physical state of being, which is why I started Fresh and Savory. One of the reasons why I started Fresh and Savory is to bring awareness to people of that, but it's kind of morphed into something else, which is okay. That's part of this journey. Okay, and then I think the last tip would be to talk with the people in your life that you trust and can confide in. I have a circle of girlfriends, and they know so much about me, and it's because these girls were my therapists during my toughest, darkest times. They were there for me to just hear me out, and maybe they had good advice, maybe they didn't, but either way, I was letting it out, right? And I think that's why it's so easy for me to talk about certain things now, because I have so much practice, and I was in a lot of therapy when I was younger, but yeah, and another thing, if you feel like you don't have anybody, this is something that you can do, which some people may view as like extreme, but I've personally been in places where you just feel helpless, you know, when you just really feel like there's nobody to turn to, even your best friend, like you don't want to bother them with this, you know, and so I've called crisis lines in the past. I've even done it earlier this year, and it really helped in that moment, you know. And I know that those crisis lines tend to be more for like suicide prevention, which I did get that feeling when I made my last phone call, which I wasn't suicidal, but I just was, like I said, having a moment, and I wasn't in therapy at the time, so I really felt like I had nobody, you know. And I called and just let it out, and you know, the lady was just checking in on like my mental state, and you know, if I was suicidal or not. And when I told her that I wasn't, she really wasn't interested in talking to me anymore, which is fine, but I get it, you know, they have a job to do, which but the only reason why I did call is because I know that it could go there. You know, if I don't talk about it, or if I don't let it out in a positive way, because there are many negative things you can do to mask a lot of things and emotions that are going on with you, but that's not going to help. So yes, call a crisis line if you need to. I will link a number down below. Moving along. So I wanted to just give you guys a little update on myself and just mention that I did make a counseling appointment, you guys. I'm going to go back. The reason being is that I have just kind of come to realize and have been realizing that, you know, all the things that happened in the past, like, just really affect the way I think and act, like, now as an adult and as a mother or as a partner. And you know, some of it isn't pretty, and I want to fix it. You know, we can change, we can retrain the mind and change that path, you know, break the cycle in a way. So I did, I made that appointment, and I'm gonna go, and yeah, so we'll update on that in the next video probably. And that kind of concludes this video. There was another thing that I wanted to share with you guys, but I think I'll just keep it to myself for now. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing great, and I hope this video helps somebody out there. If you can relate at all, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe if you want to see more of my content, because it'll be more stuff like this, story times. I want to introduce you guys to my partner. I want to introduce you guys to my son and my family. Yeah, because they're all part of this crazy journey. So